I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you stopped by to watch and listen to Flower Power. Each week I draw a cartoon, I find an inspirational quote, and then I share my thoughts. This week is pertinent to all of us, no matter who we are, no matter when we've lived. It is something that we will all encounter. As the two leaves falling from the tree ask, one is concerned and one is not. Oh no, what? Have we just died? Yep. No matter what we do in life, we encounter life and death, primarily from the womb to the tomb, as they say. But death is many, many things to us all. And as the quote this week also incorporates how we can reach from one side of what we perceive as death and what we perceive as life. Where there is no bridge, the smallest plank is of great value. How do we bridge the chasm that we perceive at times between life and death? I love being a cartoonist. I love when we look around at life, especially these trees in Anmore in Vancouver, where we've got a fallen tree and yet another fallen tree that has grown over the fallen tree. What have those trees witnessed on this great continent? There seems a great tragedy about it. Yet it is life. It really is life. And I've been very fortunate to have travelled extensively. And when I look and I fly over vast continents such as Canada, North America, and I see the incredible land that is full of life and full of death. Now, how do we perceive it? With fear or with divine beauty? There is an incredible nature out there, and we are in here within ourselves that equal nature. When we set out on our journey, sometimes every day, sometimes we perceive the bigger picture of the overall journey of our life. But we must hold the paradox of life and death always. Everything, as a great spiritual teacher once said, is not death and decay, but rebirth and renewal. We are constantly being reborn every day. We are constantly being renewed every day. Our lives are constantly being reborn and renewed every day. If we still thought at the age of 60 as we thought at the age of 16, our life would not have been rebirth and renewal. It would have been stagnant. Therefore, our journey on every single day is critical. Some days will be a walk in the park, and other days will interject in our life and interrupt our life with a certain amount of misfortune, and inevitably that brings us suffering. Now, some people don't like the speed that suffering can bring to us. On this trip, on the Fraser River in Vancouver, British Columbia, we set out at a pace to go fishing, which ultimately is a relaxing sport. Life is like that at times, when the challenges of life are presented to us. When the rebirth and renewal is asked of us, if we deny that process, then we suffer. And not only do we suffer, but our suffering is 100 times worse. The contrast, the paradox of life is all around us. Again, on Vancouver Island, on the west coast of Vancouver Island, this incredible day of land and sea, and yet the divine beauty of walking along the River Avon in Stratford-upon-Avon and looking at this frosted spider's web. Incredible and beautiful. The life cycle of water in this moment in Oxford at a service station. The water that flies from these pipes transforms the life and death of water to a frozen state. And yet equally, once everything warms up, however gently, water can transform again. Our winters often seem like barren times. Yet there is a time for rest for us all. There is a time for rest in every part of our life. And nature again explores this and illustrates to us perfectly that we all need to rest. And again, what we perceive as death and decay, that fear of dying, is part of the journey. As a child, when we used to go to Ireland, we used to get on the ferry from Fishguard to Rosslare, and it was so exciting. Born and bred in Birmingham in the UK, I left a landlocked Brummie's lifestyle to a seafarer's lifestyle. So exciting. It was a death and a rebirth at the same time. As we travelled into my father's fishing village, a small little coastal village called Passage East, I loved the contrast. As a child, when you're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, your 2-week summer holiday seemed like an eternity. Everything is brand new. Everything as I perceived it in my life was reborn. I never knew water or tides or small little quaint houses in Birmingham. Everything seemed to be uniformed, all in a row. And in contrast, I would come to this sleepy little village, yet it awoke in me the possibilities of all things new. The rebirth, the renewal, the perception of what was normal died, and the new normal began. I used to run around this square, quite literally, round and round and round, in joy, loving every second of it. I look at it now as I grow older, and I see the youth, and I remember the elder generations who are no longer with us, including my own father and my mother. And yet the rebirth and renewal continues. Children running, playing, as my father would have done when he was a child. If he was alive now, he would be 105 years old. So the rebirth and renewal of his life as a migrant, and the life and the death as we perceived it was steeped in mystery. We have to be quick to see where the religious are right. Why should I try and work out what life and death is, rebirth and renewal, when I have a short time on life? For me, it is wise to see what those who have gone before me have done and spoke about. If I'm humble in heart, maybe, just maybe, I can embrace my own life and death, my rebirth, my renewal, the mystery, the paradox, and know, holding these two opposites, are not only critical, but the essence of life and love. Death has no power. It is rebirth and renewal. Join Flower Power and its community for heads that hurt and for hearts that learn to love. Be part of our journey, and we will be part of yours.